welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how are you doing today?
I am buckled in and ready to chat tonight. We have so much to cover.
Well, tonight is, and I've said this to you off air, tonight is going to be a bear. It's going to be a bear of a show because there's so much information. Every time we've done a resort show, we've talked to you about if they're a Disney Vacation Club resort. And tonight, we're going to break down really all of the Disney Vacation Club options. We're going to compare them for you because they are available for you to stay at, even if you are not a Disney Vacation Club member. So let's do it. Disney Vacation Club. How do you feel about it?
Well, there's a reason we left it for the final piece in our series of comparing Walt Disney World resorts on a different level. I love the villas when they're the right thing for me. We've stayed in studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3-bedroom grand villas. We've stayed in every one of the properties. But I am very fortunate. I rotate through every resort on property. It's pretty much a 3-year cycle for me to get everywhere, though I double up on some of my favorites. But I love some of the features that you find in a home away from home, as they're called on Disney's website. Disney Vacation Club, or DVC, as you'll hear us say, which is a timeshare program. But as Jeff said, the great thing is that when members aren't using their timeshare, it is available for guests on cash. You can't tell it's a timeshare. They are furnished by Disney. The housekeeping is by Disney. The front desk is the Disney front desk. So it's all about how you make your reservations. Some people are owners and they reserve it one way, and our clients are just using it for whatever nights they want. And it gives you a lot of opportunity for different configurations on rooms that are not your traditional, here's a resort room with 2 queen beds and maybe a pull-out couch.
So if you're an avid listener to our program, you know whenever we talk DVC or Disney Vacation Club, we love to bring you the connection to our friends over at dvcnews.com. And so for more than a decade, DVC News has provided the latest news and information regarding the Disney Vacation Club timeshare program and its member resorts. Visit them at dvcnews.com, where you can sign up for their email newsletter, or look for them at facebook.com/DVC News or twitter.com/DVC News. Home away from home is accurate. It's something that my family is fortunate enough to enjoy. One of the shows we had done recently, when we compared the deluxe resorts, we talked about room size. I think that's probably a solid place to start because the room size is different for all of these things. I think maybe we can start at the beginning. Does that make sense to you?
It does. And the beginning of DVC, it wasn't initially even called that, but their very first resort was the old Key West Resort, which is beautifully located on a golf course. So some people have those great golf course views. And I think when they built it, they were really trying to see, was there a market for this? The answer is a resounding yes. What is it that people are looking for that makes it a timeshare, a home away from home, not just I'm in my hotel? And it starts with features, and we'll talk about all of the things that you can get, everything from a wet bar to a full kitchen to a washer dryer in your room. But what Old Key West boasts is the largest rooms of any of the DVC properties. So much so that their studios, which are similar to a hotel room, are 390 square feet. And without counting a value villa, because we know that name implies that it's smaller, the smallest studio is 339 square feet. So you can see almost a 20% difference in size. And because Old Key West was first, they really tried out the whole model of what they were looking for. So they've got studios. That's going to be closest to your hotel room. Again, largest hotel room you've stayed in is a standard room. It's got a 1-bedroom. So a living room, kitchen. Their kitchen is actually so large. There's a nice big island in it, separate bedroom. Then they've got a 2-bedroom, which is actually a studio put together with a 1-bedroom, and then 3-bedroom grand villas. And at Old Key West, they don't have the largest grand villas, because I'll tell you in a few minutes about some of the exciting things in the other ones, but they are the second largest at 2,375 square feet. So picturing what your house is and what that square footage is, you're going to have an idea how large these really are. They are great for multi-generational trips. Everybody can, you can put the kids to bed, everybody can hang out in the living room. But the one caution that I always give is that while I love the grand villas, they are not ever going to be your most economical choice. They'll sleep up to 12, but getting 3 separate hotel rooms will be less expensive than that 3-bedroom. Because with the exception of Old Key West, it's all about the square footage, and that's how they determine rates. That kind of factors in along with transportation.
A lot right there, a lot to unpack as far as the square footage in the rooms. I think the important piece to kind of break it down for folks is every one of these things that we're talking about has different levels of accommodation, different sizes of accommodation. So we're talking studios, 1-bedrooms, 2-bedrooms, 3-bedrooms. Those are language, grand villas. Those are things that you've just thrown out there. I encourage you to go to the show notes, go to dvcnews.com, as we said. It'll give you a little bit more of a breakdown of what we've got here. Where else do you want to go when you talk about room size? Is there anywhere else that you think is important to break down?
As I said earlier in the show, there's 2 ways to book a room at one of these home away from home resorts. And I'm going to just throw out some favorites that people have. Villas at Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Villas, Beach Club, Boardwalk. So things that you might not even realize were villas. Those are hotel names, but they have a villas section to them. And as somebody working with a travel agent, or if you so choose to brave the Disney website on your own, you're going to be able to book these and pay cash. There's no membership required. There's no extra fees. There's no service that you're lacking because you're in a villa. And then there's villas that members can book. And on Monday, the villa can be rented to a member. And on Wednesday, it can be rented to somebody booking through a travel agent. And the amenities within that room change. For instance, when you're a member, you don't get daily housekeeping. But the other thing is trust the website. It is one of the times that I can't say this enough. There are certain instances where a percentage of the 2-bedroom villas sleep 8 and a percentage of the 2-bedrooms sleep 9. And the ones that sleep 9 are only available to members. Or at Old Key West, there's only 2 buildings with elevators, and they're located near what's called Hospitality House, which is their lobby. Those buildings are only available to members. So it's important to know what you're getting. It's important to not put in a request for something that you can't have. So trust the website is the one you're using to book, or more importantly, trust your travel agent.
Okay, so if you're a listener that we break down these comparative shows by best this and best that. So do you want to make the segue over to best transportation now? Is that a logical jump?
We can.
Okay, so what would you say it is, the best transportation?
There isn't one answer for this one. There's several that I think are best transportation. Beach Club Villas and Boardwalk Villas. I love walking into Epcot. If I can stay there for a festival, that's always my first choice. Walking in and out of Epcot and the boat to Hollywood Studios. Any of the villas on the monorail, if I'm doing a lot of Magic Kingdom time. So that's going to be Grand Floridian, Bay Lake Tower, which is part of the Contemporary, or the Polynesian. Of those 3, I actually love the Polynesian transportation more than the others, because I can walk to the Ticket and Transportation Center from there. So I can take the monorail to Epcot or the monorail to Magic Kingdom. And then honorable mentions to Wilderness Lodge, Copper Creek, Boulder Ridge. It's got several names all in that one same resort. They've got the boat over to Magic Kingdom. And our second honorable mention, because I can't leave it out, Riviera Resort with the Sky Gondola to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Those are really the prime transportation ones for me.
Well, and I think, as you say time and time again, it depends on what your vacation is, right? Somebody that's staying at Riviera maybe doesn't have the same desire for speed to get somewhere as somebody that maybe wants to stay at the Bay Lake Tower and wants to just get out of their hotel and walk to the Magic Kingdom. Like there's a very different perspective when you're deciding that, as far as
definitely. And somebody staying at Riviera that's there for a festival and doing 3 days at Epcot is going to love the Sky Gondola. Somebody staying at Riviera that's there for 3 Magic Kingdom days, the gondola doesn't go there. It really doesn't help them. So it is about your plan. It's why we like to talk to our clients, get an idea what your plan is, because again, even a single resort isn't one size fits all.
What about the worst transportation? Anything that you think should be a pitfall people should at least just be aware of?
I give the worst transportation awards to Old Key West and Saratoga Springs. And the reason is, unlike these other resorts that most of them are hotel style, one building with everything, or 2 or 3 buildings that you can walk to very easily, Old Key West and Saratoga are huge. Depending where you are in the resort, not only will there be multiple bus stops to get to the park, but you might need to take a bus just to get to the lobby. So if you're not there with a car, which most of our guests are not, I don't want to have to take a bus just to go get fast food, or we forgot some medicine and I need to go to the gift shop. I want to be able to walk there. Others love that because there's so much more land and space that they love its openness. But from a transportation standpoint, they do get my worst awards.
And I think it's important to note here, you're talking about once you're there, right? You're talking about once you're there, if you're in a hotel room, you need to basically take a bus to get to a quick service restaurant to get to where, for the most part, unless you're near the hospitality house in Old Key West or near, the main lobby at Saratoga. The thing that I would add to what you're saying there as far as worst transportation, we talked about this when we did our Animal Kingdom Lodge show. I would put them there too, only because it's far from a lot of the rest of the entirety of Walt Disney World. And it's a bus. It's always a bus when you're leaving Animal Kingdom Lodge.
It definitely is the far end of property. It's a trade-off that people make, and we say that all the time. Every resort has a trade-off. For Animal Kingdom Lodge and for the villas in both Kidani and Jumbo House, I love how peaceful those resorts are. I love that with more resort time, they have savannas and more activities. So I'm going to trade that sometimes to get those things for a little bit longer on the bus.
Right. And it depends on your traveling party. So talk to your specialist. Let's go to the extras, the best extras that these particular resorts have. I'm going to just kind of rattle it off. You can give me your opinion on them. Who do you think's got the best pool? I mean, I know this answer, but who do you think has the best pool?
So hands down, it goes to Beach Club. We've talked about that it's actually considered a water park. It's got a lazy river. It's got a sand bottom pool to it. But I am going to say these are all deluxe resorts. They've all got a slide. Several of them have adorable splash zones if you've got little ones. Grand Floridian has a Mad Hatter one, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Wilderness Lodge. They have the cutest little kids area. So if you've got, a 6-month-old to a 3 or 4-year-old, they're going to love the pools there no matter what, because the splash zone is for them.
But I would say go back and listen to our shows. We'll have it in the show notes too for each one of these resorts, because you'll get a good sense of all of these things that we're about to break down as far as what they have to offer too. I definitely agree with you with the pool. Fireworks view, we had talked a little bit about this in our deluxe comparison. What do you think?
I think very different than Disney does, so I'll caution people what a fireworks view is. I don't want to see a blip above the tree line every 30 seconds and know that I'm missing 90% of it.
Right.
To me, while they talk about that being a fireworks view, it's not for me. The best fireworks views are going to be your monorail resorts, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, and Bay Lake. And many of them, you can book a room with a theme park view and see them right from your room. You can go down and see them from the beach, but you can see, 98% of it from the resort.
What about programming? Anything that they offer as far as resort-specific programs?
Animal Kingdom Lodge wins. Again, these are deluxe resorts, so you're going to find more programming here. They're all going to have the movie night. They're all going to have some games at the pool. But Animal Kingdom Lodge really goes into a little bit more with the animal care, with the cultural programs. You can watch some of the animal feedings, the night viewings. So really, really immersive programming.
Dining?
The interesting thing with this is there's really kind of one that falls off the grid here, and that is one of the two Animal Kingdom villas. There are two entirely separate resorts, both that start with the name Animal Kingdom. You cannot walk from one to the other. And I would say worst dining award goes to Kidani Village. And best, again, a little subjective, most is definitely the Grand Floridian. Boardwalk is pretty up there with how much dining they have. But a lot of my clients who are there more as foodies than park people, this is where they'll tell you that Old Key West and Saratoga Springs are the winner, because you can take that boat right over to Disney Springs, and we've got multiple episodes just about all the dining there because it is so immense.
Well, and I think that offsets the worst transportation argument that you were having, right? Is that, as you said, everything's got to give and take. So if it may not want to get the dining experience at Saratoga Springs or at Old Key West, maybe the gurgling suitcase at Old Key West is not exactly your jam, but you can get on that boat and you can be over at Disney Springs and have everything at your disposal. So that's definitely an option. We had talked about a spa experience in our comparing of deluxe resorts. This does give you more than just one specific spa and then a massage room. I guess you're really comparing two, right? What do you think is the best spa experience?
Well, that's an interesting question, Jeff. Again, we're recording March 2022. Right now, the only spa open on property is at the Grand Floridian. Saratoga Springs has a spa. It has not reopened. The rumor mill is definitely flying on that, whether they're refurbishing the spa and it will reopen as a spa, or whether that space is being refurbished into something else. So that remains to be seen. But yes, all of these resorts have a gym, and in the gym they have a private room for massages, and so you can have a masseuse come from the main Grand Floridian spa and do a massage for you.
Some of these are on the water. We did talk about these when we talked about the deluxe resorts, so I don't know that we need to necessarily dive back into it, pun intended. But you can picture it. If you're on those monorail resorts, they all share the same waterway. If you're on the Epcot resorts, they share that same waterway. Some of them you can take boats from. Would you say that for anybody that's looking to have a boating experience be a part of their resort, that there's one that you would push them towards than another?
I think Wilderness Lodge is the front runner for this. Their marina seems larger than the others. The marina is very separate from their boat traffic for the boats that are taking you to Magic Kingdom. They've got a lot of fishing excursions going out of there. I think because they're a little bit more off that beaten path, that you really feel a little bit more wildernessy. Who would think it?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the Wilderness Lodge, like a lot of these resorts, is very, very well themed. We're going to talk about the theming rooms in a second. But I do think that everything you just said there is set up right because of the theming.
And we know that everything in Disney is themed. I mean, most of these, with their name alone, you get some of the themes. Wilderness Lodge has its theme. Beach Club is a beach. Boardwalk is done for the Jersey Shore. So Well, they don't have programming. They often have nighttime activities. And it's just like, in theory, being at the Jersey Shore. There's some of those boardwalky kind of carnival games. There's live entertainment. And you see that carried into all of the rooms. Something like the Grand Floridian, any of you who've ever been or seen pictures, I think you right away kind of start to get that image in your head, as their name implies, of the grand look. You know, it's not as specific as Seashells, like a beach club has that tie-in, but it's that level of sophistication and elegance. Saratoga Springs, if you didn't figure that out, it's a horse racing theme from upstate New York. I always say, if you had days and days of time just to walk around the resorts, see the attention to detail they put in. Over at Animal Kingdom Lodges, I love that they have African quotes on the hallway walls and all of the African artifacts there. You really can see so much of every culture. Disney doesn't want you to be in a hotel that's a box. Their favorite word is immersive, and they certainly pull it off with all of these.
Well, and the folks that are fans of the Polynesian, they've checked out our show. You've mentioned it several times, the retheming of some of those rooms, the Moana theming. You've talked about the Incredibles theming in some of the Bay Lake Tower features. So there's plenty of things depending upon what you're looking for. If you're looking to get hit with Disney, there's a place for you to go. If you're looking to get kind of just slowly immersed in it, there's another place for you to go. So it really does depend upon, your traveling party. Talk to your specialist, figure out what makes sense for you. And there's something for everybody in this particular category. There really, really is, in size and in theming.
And I think that's the thing about this, is there's something for everybody, but there are so many nuances to this and so many things to know. For example, we talked about how a studio is kind of like a hotel room. The difference is it's got a wet bar. The other difference is, with the exception of the Villas of Polynesian, studio rooms, unlike hotel rooms, never connect to studio rooms. So you can't get two studios and have them connect unless you're at the Polynesian. At Saratoga Springs, they're unique because part of Saratoga Springs is on the former home of the Disney Institute. And they have what's called a treehouse villa, a very unique layout and a unique price point in a very positive way. Again, at the Polynesian, they have over-the-water bungalows with personal plunge pools out on the patio where you can be in your little plunge pool watching fireworks. So I guess that should have won for the fireworks view. And then over at Wilderness Lodge, which again tends to confuse a lot of people, that resort has 3 different names to it depending what section you're in: Wilderness Lodge, Copper Creek, and Boulder Ridge. They're unique in these cabins that they have. And if you just heard the word cabin and said, it's not for me, I don't camp, get that out of your mind.
Yeah, it's definitely not camping.
Not like any camping you've done before.
No.
There's a 2-sided fireplace. There's a screened-in patio with your own little plunge pool in it. It is gorgeous. Just their foyer, especially when it's lit up at night among the darkness of all the woods, is incredible. So there are a lot of nuances to these rooms. Which ones are in a hallway like a standard hotel? Which ones have only stairs and you can't easily get from one room to the other? So sometimes there's things that people will pick because they want 3 rooms together. They're not going to pick Old Key West because it's very hard to have rooms that are next door to each other unless you're on the ground floor, because there's so many different stairwells to access different things. So just so many great choices. But I think what we really didn't talk about is some of the nuances in these rooms. Anything that is a 1-bedroom or higher is going to have a full kitchen in it. That means full-size refrigerator, freezer, microwave, stove, dishwasher, fully equipped with dishes, pots and pans. And you may be saying, who wants to cook on their vacation? The answer is my mother. So she loves, especially if we're there for the holidays, to be able to do a big family meal. Occasionally we'll have it catered in, but we like for a holiday to sometimes be able to sit around these large tables. And if you're in a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, typically the table is going to seat 8 or 9. If you're in a grand villa, you've got a formal living room and dining room. You've got a full-size dining room table. Some of the grand villas have everything from a game room with a pool table to a video screening room. There's just so many unique options with these home away from home rooms.
Well, and I will say, as somebody who has made this basically the fixture of how I travel to Walt Disney World, I cannot recommend the Disney Vacation Club amenities more. I really believe that they offer such a flexible way to travel to the parks depending upon what your traveling party needs, whether it is that studio, the 1-bedroom, the 2-bedroom, the treehouse villas. We've done that. And I have cooked on vacation. I cook a lot. So if that is who you are, it's there for you. And if you're interested in coming home with clean laundry, the washer and dryer, I know, Sandy, this is your jam too. The washer and dryer is there for you in the accommodations that are 1-bedroom and up as well. So
I'll tell my mother to cover her ears on this part. She would be very disappointed in me. I use the washing machine like a hamper. Throw your clothes in at night, and after 2 days, we run the washer. They give you your laundry detergent and everything. And not coming home to 3 suitcases full of laundry is the best souvenir I can get.
Any last-minute things that we haven't discussed that you want to leave with anybody?
I'm going to talk about something that nobody loves to talk about, but is the reality behind vacation for a minute, and that is price. The price points on these rooms varies greatly. We've talked in other episodes that square footage plays into your price and location plays into your price, and there is no better example than here. So talk to a travel specialist, look at the website, don't rule something out. To give you an idea, I kind of took the top and the bottom on a random date just for comparison standpoint.
Okay.
Old Key West Studios, we talked about in the beginning of the show that they're the largest studio at 390 square feet, but they're the furthest from any theme park. Prior to discounts, that room is $652 a night. And again, I picked one average night. Comparing it to a studio at the Grand Floridian, which is 374 square feet, so a smaller room, but definitely a property that is all about location, location, location. That room is $1,037 a night. So you can see that big range in price, and we've got others that are a lower cost because they don't have what we say, that direct transportation. Animal Kingdom Lodge is a little further out. It's going to be one of your lower price points. Bay Lake Tower right there at the Contemporary is one of your higher price points. So don't rule anything out. Look at all your choices. Talk to a travel specialist. Even if it's not our team, I hope it's me and my team, but I hope that you choose to support the travel industry. We are commissioned by Disney, so whether you go onto the Disney website and you fight your way through it and try to make the best choices yourself, or you call us, it's going to price exactly the same if you're comparing apples to apples, because we're paid by Disney. So why not let us help you navigate those choices and really understand what you're picking, and maybe a resort that you didn't think about where we can talk to you about the value and the amenities. Because if previous episodes, we tried to cover it all and we got so much in, this one, as Jeff said in the beginning, is such a bear. It's definitely hard to break down in 20 minutes, but typically in 5 minutes with a family, I can find which one is for you because I hear what you're looking for in a vacation.
Very well said. Very, very appropriate and all true. Sandy, thanks for taking the time tonight and have a great week.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share on your Facebook and Instagram for other Disney fans to enjoy. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.